Welcome to Healing Minds by Design. My name is Kim Savage, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of myself and my team for carving the time out of your busy day to listen to this short webinar. I know that your time is very valuable, and we really appreciate the fact that you're here. The important information that I'm about to disclose to you today might just allow you to hit the reset button on your entire life. My mission is to help as many people as I can in the easiest and shortest way possible. I mean, why should you have to wait any longer to feel better? Haven't you waited long enough? What I'd like to do today is just pull back the curtain and lay it all out on the table and show you exactly how you can use our Healing Minds by Design programs to absolutely revolutionize your life, to reach the very core of your emotions, and to find and neutralize your repetitive patterns of negative thinking. My goal in designing the True Balance program was to make it possible for everyone to have access to a system that actually works, and works very, very well and very quickly. I'll give you the tools and the training and the support to be able to take control of your own life and become the captain of your own destiny, all within 4 short weeks. I've worked with hundreds of clients just like you, but every one of those clients will tell you that this is not an easy journey. You have to be willing to let go of a lot of baggage in order to change. However, if you have a sincere desire for that change, self-discipline to follow through with your daily sessions and journal entries, and the courage and motivation to keep going, you will be successful. So let me take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about who I am and how this amazing program came into existence. In 2005, I graduated with a master's degree in counseling, but it's not the letters behind my name that are important. What is important is the training and information I received after I graduated. In the first year after I received my degree, I continued my education and specialized in a form of psychotherapy called EMDR. I'd had the privilege of working with an EMDR therapist a few years before to help me process through some pretty traumatic memories of my own, so I knew firsthand the power and effectiveness of EMDR. Let me explain a little bit about what it is to you and how it works. EMDR is a highly successful psychotherapy that was first discovered in the 1980s and is more and more becoming the go-to therapy for people with post-traumatic stress and other trauma-related issues. For those of you who don't know what EMDR stands for, the acronym means Eye Movement Desensitization and Reprocessing. That's a lot of big words that basically mean bilateral stimulation, where bi means two and lateral means sides. EMDR, or bilateral stimulation, helps to desensitize a person to the underlying causes of stress and anxiety, and it allows your brain to actually reprocess disturbing memories or events. In simpler terms, it encourages the two sides or hemispheres of your brain to start communicating again, and it uses a repeating side-to-side stimulus. That stimulus can be anything: back and forth eye movements, hence the name EMDR, right side, left side tapping, right and left audio tones, or anything that has a repeating right left sequence. When I started my private practice in 2006, I used EMDR almost exclusively with my clients. Since my client base at that time was mostly made up of former military or victims of domestic violence, abuse, or critical incidents, the EMDR worked very well and worked very quickly. My clients experienced rapid relief and freedom from emotions and negative states of mind that had plagued them, sometimes for years. I began to see how gratifying it was for me to be able to help people. I mean, really help people. Issues that had been overwhelming to them for years, decades even, were getting completely resolved. This therapy worked so fast in fact that I could pretty much guarantee my clients' recovery from the issue that first brought them into my office within 5 or 6 sessions. I'm not one of those people who believes in hanging on to a client as long as possible in order to guarantee a paycheck for myself. I could never take people's money for services that I knew were either less than completely effective or could be completed in a fraction of the time. Call me crazy, but I believed, and I still do, that the best and most important thing I could ever do for my clients was to facilitate their relief and healing in the most powerful and effective way and in the shortest amount of time possible. EMDR was the key to a fast resolution for their emotional pain, as well as the ticket to my desire to help people in the best and fastest way. Around that time, I also became very interested in a phenomenon called binaural beats or binaural tones. Again, bi means two, and aural is the sense of hearing. I studied binaural tones extensively and wondered if I might be able to somehow incorporate them into the bilateral audio program I was already using with my clients. Basically, binaural tones work like this. Two separate tones are played, one in each ear, but they just sound like a low hum. Each tone has a specific but slightly different frequency. The difference between the two frequencies produces the binaural beat. For example, if a 200 hertz frequency was played in one ear and a 210 hertz frequency was played in the other ear, the binaural beat would have a frequency of 10 hertz. The really cool thing is the frequency of the binaural beat can change the dominant frequency of someone's brainwaves just by listening to it. There are lots of audio programs being advertised on the internet now that use binaural beats to produce a certain effect, like lowering anxiety or inducing sleep, for instance. In fact, one of the nicknames for binaural tones is digital drugs, so that caught my interest. I had been taught in graduate school and beyond that it's always a very bad idea to start any sort of client-therapist relationship with someone who's highly emotional, which basically means someone who's not on any kind of medication, like Prozac or Wellbutrin, for example. But because I've always been one to push the boundaries and question the logic or competence of any hard and fast rule, plus the fact that I loved the idea of digital drugs, I put two and two together. If I could help someone control their emotions without the use of prescription drugs and get the fast and effective results from an EMDR session, it was definitely worth a shot. And guess what? Not only was it an astonishing discovery, it was completely 100% successful, and that's when Healing Minds by Design was born. So now I want to ask you three questions, and I want you to really think about your answers. Grab a pen and paper if you want. I want you to write down the first thing that comes to mind when I ask each question. Okay? Okay, here we go. First question. What is preventing you right now from living the life you've always wanted? Think about that question for a minute. Take a deep breath. What is preventing you from living the life you've always wanted? What feelings stir deep inside you when you ask yourself, what's my excuse? What are the things holding you back from living the life you've always dreamed of? What has stolen your sense of personal freedom and empowerment and replaced them with apathy or doubt or fear? What is it? Question number 2. If you didn't have anything preventing you from living the life you've always wanted, how would your life be different? Again, make sure you're writing down the first things that come to mind when you imagine what your life would look like if you didn't have the reasons or the excuses from question number 1. What would be different? How would you feel? And question number 3. What would that life you've always wanted actually be worth to you? And I'm not just talking dollars here. What would you be willing to give up in order to have the life you've always wanted? What excuses are you willing to give up? What old habits or fears or doubts are you willing to walk away from? If you could do that, if you could walk away from all of the old scripts and stories and expectations about what you should do and who you should be, what would that be worth to you? The great psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Jung once said, "Whatever does not emerge as consciousness returns as destiny." In other words, we're likely to keep repeating our unconscious patterns until we allow them to surface into our awareness. So at this point, by sticking with me and listening to this webinar so far, you've already taken your first step toward an absolutely incredible, completely life-transforming journey. An opportunity to step out of your comfort zone and into awareness, and blast through all of the blocks and walls that have prevented you from becoming the person you have always wanted to be and having the life that you have always wanted to have. I'd like to invite you to participate in a very intensive 4-week personal transformation process that will change your life forever. In our very first one-on-one session, I'll teach you how to use the Healing Minds by Design audio program most effectively and how to use your True Balance journal daily for best results. Though the process itself is uncomplicated and straightforward, this challenge is definitely not easy. It will require daily self-discipline to sit down with your earbuds and your audio program and actually allow the transformation to happen. If you think that you might be a good candidate for participation in our intensive program, there are specific requirements you're going to need to meet. Requirement number 1. A method of downloading and listening on a daily basis to an MP3 audio program that will be emailed to you when you enroll. Because of the way your brain processes the bilateral and binaural tones, it's absolutely necessary to listen to the program with headphones or earbuds. Requirement number 2 is commitment. You'll be committing to your full participation in an initial one-on-one phone session, as well as 4 once-a-week group phone sessions. In addition, you'll be required to set aside time every day for your own personal session. 30 to 60 minutes is the average, though anything beyond is fine too, or more than once a day is fine as well. You'll soon find that you'll automatically start reaching for your audio program whenever you start feeling stressed out or anxious. Requirement number 3 is courage. This program is definitely not for sissies. You're going to learn how to find, process, and neutralize the emotional blocks that have kept you feeling stuck or powerless. You'll learn to recognize and, more importantly, how to reprocess your patterns of negative thoughts and emotions and how they've shaped your life up to this point. And sometimes that's really scary, but this program will give you the tools and the training and the support to deal with and neutralize any emotion that might come up for you. Requirement number 4 is perseverance. There are going to be times when you might be too tired or too afraid to move forward through an emotion, but don't give up. With the tools you're going to receive in your very first phone session, you'll always be able to work through any negative emotion or feeling. I know that some of you have tried virtually every other option with little to no success. I can assure you, though you might feel discouraged and defeated because you think you've already tried everything out there, this program is so unique, so powerful, and utterly life-transforming that you're going to notice a profound emotional shift from your very first session. Here's what our 4-week True Balance journey looks like. Your first week will begin with a one-on-one phone session. During this call, you'll be introduced to the audio program and your journal, and you'll start using both of them immediately as we set out on your journey to emotional freedom. The rest of the week, you'll listen to the program daily, as well as journal about the changes and epiphanies you're experiencing. You're also encouraged to participate in our weekly Q&A phone calls, as well as join our Facebook group where you and others enrolled in the course can interact directly with me and each other, and with other folks who've already completed the program. Weeks 2 through 4 will revolve around group coaching calls with other like-minded seekers. You'll be required to have your earbuds in and be listening to your audio program during those calls, just like in your initial one-on-one phone call. During these group calls, you can ask any questions regarding the past week's struggles or epiphanies, but we'll also be working with the ideas presented in weekly emails. The power of a group can't be overstated here, as many of you will be experiencing similar reactions and have similar questions. The rest of the week, you'll listen to the audio program and journal daily. You'll also be encouraged to participate in the weekly Q&A calls, as well as interact on the Facebook page. After graduating, we'd love to have you be part of our Healing Minds by Design community forum through our Facebook page and other social media outlets. You'll be given more information about those after completing your course. There is one other option where those of you who feel more comfortable working one-on-one and not in a group can participate as well. You'll still be doing the daily work, but you'll have private phone calls each week. You'll have access to the group calls if you'd like to participate, as well as the Q&A calls, but those are optional. One disclaimer for going that route is that there are only a few spaces per month that are available for the private option, and of course there's a price difference. So what I'd like you to do right now is to consider whether or not you think Healing Minds by Design might be able to help you in your life. If you've taken into account everything I've told you up to this point, and you believe that this program can deliver what we claim it can, then I need a commitment from you. I am 100% committed to you and your personal transformation if you are. If you're not willing to dedicate yourself 100% for 4 weeks to your own healing with our True Balance program, then we probably shouldn't work together. And it's okay if you can't or don't want to commit. Some people just aren't ready to do that, but some people are. If you are ready to commit and you feel that the True Balance journey is something that might be able to help you change your life, then all you need to do is fill out our short application on the website and send it back to us. There's no obligation and absolutely no cost to apply. It's just our way of finding out if we might be able to work well together for your best possible outcome. What if you became the greatest version of yourself that you ever imagined?